Good evening, everybody. It is Tuesday.
Taco Tuesday!
Oh, wait, that's right. It is Taco Tuesday. My goodness gracious. Time has freaking flown, man.
Oh, it's Tequila Tuesday.
Oh, yeah, that too. God damn, I don't have any tequila on me. God dang it.
No, God, it's tequila 7 days a week. Taco strictly Tuesday. That's the
Oh, that is crazy. But yeah, it is. Chad, is it snowing where you are?
I will tell you right now. I don't know the answer.
You don't know the answer. Well, it is kind of snowing here, unfortunately. Which
It is snowing all around me, but not specifically on me at the moment.
oh well,
no,
that's
actually, it completely. It looks like it clears out about an hour altogether.
Right, we can change that. I think we need to.
You ever heard of a dance move? You ever heard of a dance move called the horizontal mamba, Chad?
We
ain't gonna make
I think your mom taught me that once.
She might have. She's been around. She's been around too.
Oh, well, everybody, welcome into the show. Welcome to Auto Rhythm. I'm Jamie. We got Eli and our special guest. We got Chad, who actually is his second appearance already, which is I think
my first appearance back since I started to die.
Yeah, was it week 13? I think it was, right? One of those two?
Like that, and I spent the entire winter trying not to die.
Yeah, there you go. But yeah, well, I'm glad you're able to join us tonight because
I'm cough free.
Hey, that's awesome, man. That's great. Glad you're feeling better and whatnot too. I'm sorry, actually, I forgot to. I actually missed your little prep show on Twitch the other day. I was kind of busy, but
don't worry, it was awful.
I went back and listened to it. I mean, you had a good. I think there was a lot of times you weren't close to your mic, and you were kind of far away. At times, the audio was great, and then it was a little back. But other than that, I mean, you had some great content. I know you had a lot of guys asking questions and stuff like that. So I mean, that was actually pretty neat. I like that part, anyways. You know, I think they need some more questions for the Plazo Discord or the Plazo Pod, in general, anyways.
I was very rushed getting started because I woke up about 11 minutes before I had to start.
Ooh, yeah, that's never fun.
And I had to transfer all my notes to my professional setup.
Whoo, crazy. But
a close call.
Yes, it is. But everybody's kind of wondering, what are we going to talk about before we actually get in? Make sure you join our Discord. You know, I got the link in the comments section below. So if you're not in our Discord, make sure you join that bad boy. And there's all kinds of just goodies in there and whatnot. And Eli, I think you have something else you want to say too. Where else can they follow us?
You know what? You know where you can follow us at? You can get us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Chad's Basement, everywhere. We're global. We're an international streaming service here for you guys. And I'm sorry about last week. I had some work stuff come up, but better late than never. Got Chad here tonight. Got big ticket over there. Myself, we're ready to rock. We're gonna talk some second year guys, some rookies coming in. I'm pumped. I'm pumped, baby. But guys, to start off with, what do you think about a couple of the signings that have happened? Let's roll with that, especially the quarterback.
Yeah, we can do that.
The Seahawks ringing up Geno, Derek Carr. And the debauchery in Baltimore with Lamar Jackson and what might happen there, but I don't know what you guys think.
All the deals on paper are great.
Go ahead, Chad.
I think all the deals are great. It's very interesting. Geno's price is like on the edge of being too much, but it's set up in such a way that's perfect for them to get rid of him for. I saw a lot of talk today that they're the favorite to land Anthony Richardson now.
Yeah, it's very possible.
Build him up behind Geno.
Yeah, yeah. From what I heard, anyways, they can get rid of him after this year, and if they do draft a rookie, he's he wants to be able to kind of fill him in and whatnot, which is awesome too as well.
Yeah,
It's
Gio's perfect in that. Like, obviously, he can't be a $35 million backup.
most definitely. I mean, he's got some good talent. Before he was with the Jets before he ended up going with Seattle. And it proved that he was actually, he's got some talent left, in the tank yet. And we'll see what he does this
Yeah.
year.
And then for the
I,
Giants to
oh,
parlay that into Jones at basically the same price point, and say what we will about Danny Dimes and the bad times, he's infinitely more talented than Geno Smith.
No, he's got that running capability. I mean, look at how many yards he put up. He put up like
Absolutely.
700
To
some
get
odd yards.
at least athletically,
I don't
he's
even
the
know if
more
it's a
gifted
I don't even know if
player.
it's a talent thing. I don't think so. I really don't. I think Gino was in a mess with. I mean, the Jet. Who the hell is with the Jets since my man Brett Favre? I mean, what quarterback has gone in there and done anything since number 4, like 15 years ago? Nobody. So Mark Sanchez, whatever. That's the butt fumble guy. I don't take him seriously. Gino was in a bad situation there for a couple years. Got
Geno
bad
wasn't even
coaching,
bad there.
bad players, everything.
No, Gino wasn't even that bad there. I mean, he actually did fairly well. I mean, he
He
tossed some touchdowns and whatnot.
wasn't. Gino's an he wasn't dumb. I mean, he was. We all kind of wrote him off that he was a career backup, and that's what happens to most guys. First couple of years, if you're not popping, like you become, and that's what we expected of Daniel Jones. That's what I thought. That's why I said Daniel Jones. That's what I used to call him that last year before he got Dable as the coach. Go ahead, Chad.
Gino reminds me a lot of what we're dealing with Mitch Trubisky now. That's the same kind of performance we got out of Mitch the first 2 years in Chicago. Now it's just maybe he ends up 5 years from now in a Seattle situation, but that's a level of talent I think we're looking at with Gino.
Yeah, very well. I mean, Trubisky came out. Came out looking pretty damn good at first, and now he kind of slumped off. And he had another opportunity with the Steelers. I mean, given the
That was
fact
a terrible
that
opportunity.
yeah, and that was too because they ended up drafting Pickett Kenny Pickett. So that part kind of put a lot of pressure on him to they kind of had their franchise guy, so it kind of put a lot of stipulations on like, well, if I don't perform, well, they got their backup already, for their franchise. So that kind of put a toll on him.
And they weren't going to let Pickens loose until after they were already done with Trubisky.
Yeah,
So they had
more
him
than likely.
handcuffed. They had him handcuffed the whole, and Najee was terrible. So Trubisky was just completely handcuffed.
Yeah, and
But those kind of numbers are what we got out of Gino in New York.
yeah, and you have to think about it too. I mean, after they lost Big Ben, coming into a whole new whole new quarterback, with two different guys. Everybody was used to Ben. He was there for who knows how long. So a wholly different game plan with two different quarterbacks. So I mean, Ben he didn't really run around that much. You got two quarterbacks that can run around. They're pretty nimble.
But yeah, that's just it's getting back to the Daniel Jones thing. To pay Gino money for the potential upside of him actually being good, like worst case scenario, he's Gino.
Yeah. Yeah, more than likely. I get, and in the whole Danny thing, I think he earned it. It's we'll have to see what he does this year, but other than that, I
Handing
mean,
him
he
down
showed
from
he
I
had.
think he was asking for $60 million.
Yeah, it was pretty high, but I think he got 40 million or something. I don't remember. No, was it 100 and something odd? I can't remember exactly.
Yeah,
I
it was
saw it
40.
earlier, but
It was 40, but it's like almost all guaranteed. So they can't
oof.
get out of it like Seattle can. But
Yeah, totally. So they're stuck with him. It was kind of funny. It was a comment of well, they're not going to get into the Super Bowl anytime soon. It was like a Packers situation or something. I can't remember exactly, but somebody made a comment of, well, they're not going to the Super Bowl anytime soon.
Eli, your mic's
Yeah.
completely fucked.
Yep, your mic is completely confuggled, man. I can't even hear you at
I
all.
can hear you, but it's like a mile away, so I think your cord's loose.
Yep. Something happened. He fuggled around. Now he's all like gone and whatnot. While he figures that out, yeah. Well, Chad, what did you actually think about the whole card going to the Saints?
We're going to talk a lot more about that when we get to the sophomores.
Yeah, but I mean, just your quick thoughts
That
on it.
that is the landing spot I wanted for him. I didn't want him to go to the Jets just because I wanted the Aaron Rodgers chaos.
Yeah,
Um, it's a perfect fit.
yeah, I think so. I think it's they 4 years and whatnot, and I think it'd be pretty damn good for Olave and a bunch of other guys down the road. And I guess a lot of it too, it comes down to is Michael Thomas, is he gonna be there? Is he gonna be gone?
Fuck him.
Yep. Right. So yeah, it's just one of those things too. It's kind of like well, um I just don't know what to really think, because last year they're I was trying to think here for the moment here. Michael Thomas was supposed to be coming back, and then now he's not coming back. Well, it's been 2 years since he even played and whatnot. So it's kind of like, oh crap, it's like I wish he would have just made up his mind, not tried to play or what. So that kind of mimbles maybe Chris Olave being the number one guy there possibly now.
Absolutely.
You know, while Eli,
100%.
hopefully Eli.
Thomas was, and forever will be a total bum.
Yeah. Yeah.
That guy lived off of Drew Brees for years.
I got so much bullshit up in my chest right now from everything I've had to listen to for the last 5 minutes. I can't do this. Look, Seattle, they're in a beautiful spot. Yeah, I was muted for 5-10 minutes. Doesn't matter. Seattle's in a beautiful spot. Richardson's a project. Okay, he's a damn project. But I wish Tennessee could have given Willis that amount of time, because he's a 2-3 year project. Jordan Love, I think is ready to play right now. He was a 2-3 year project. So Richardson, you get an established starter like Geno. I love that. 35 million. 5-10 years ago that would have been insane Peyton Manning kind of money, but now that's the going rate for a top probably 10, top 15 quarterback. If you're in the better half of the league, you're making at least 35 million. That's why Derek Carr getting 37.5 and 100 million guaranteed, 37.5 per season, 100 million guaranteed. I have no issue with that. He's a starting level quarterback. Who the hell else is in that conference? I'll get to Desmond Ritter here in a little bit. I'm going to slap him around a little bit. Carolina ain't got nobody. Tampa's got the worst quarterback situation in the league unless we pony up and sign Jimmy G or something. So right now the Saints are the favorite in the NFC South with this signing. Love it. Geno and Richardson going to Seattle. That's perfect. You know what? They stockpiled those picks. The heist of the century. Is that a Vikes? You damn right, Eric. It's number 4. It's number 4. Because I knew we were going to talk a little bit of Jets tonight. I knew we were going to talk about Aaron Rodgers. And this is more or less to mock him, because we know what's going to happen with number 12. He's going to the Jets. This is going to happen. Derek Carr, now that he's out of the mix, Green Bay, Jordan Love, and so I keep waiting for the scroll, maybe a week, 2 weeks from now, a month from now. I keep waiting to breaking news on the bottom. Aaron Rodgers is traded to the Jets for a first and a third or something. I expect to see that, and he's going to end up just like his man Favre. That's what Green Bay does, and Jordan Love is going to have a productive season next year. We'll talk a little bit about some of the second year guys, Watson and Dubs. Most notably Watson. I think he's got the ability to be an all pro level guy. So. But yeah, like some of these signings do. And then I was going to say too, I'll get that in real quick. I'll let you guys jump in. Calvin Ridley was reinstated. I know me and Jamie love Ridley. What do you think about Ridley, Chad?
I'm going to be trading for him in my Dynasty League, so that probably says a
Hell
lot
yeah.
about how I feel about him. I'm I think it's a phenomenal IRL situation. I'm not sure how fantasy shakes out because that's a lot of mouths to feed now.
If you
And
had the
Lawrence can definitely feed them. He's got enough arm to feed all of them, but that's still a lot, especially after
I
what
know.
Kirk just did.
Yeah. I'm kind of, I guess I'm all for Ridley. If they can have a 1-2 punch at the wide receiver core, hey, I mean, I'm all down for that. I mean, Ridley's been away from the, away for 2 years from the league. We're playing football 2 years away, and the thing about it is, hopefully he stays in shape. And the thing about him being restated is he can go to his locker right now, get informed with the team. Start talking to people. So that I don't think that's going to be much of an issue. He can be there for OTAs and whatnot. So I just think it might take him a little bit to kind of get reclaimed with route running and all that good. Just kind of get himself back into football shape in a little bit. So yeah, I mean he might be a number 2, but I'd go Christian Kirk for sure though.
I love it. They I mean, we're gonna have Evan Ingram for at least another season, and if he pops again, I almost think you have to lock him up because at that point Ingram would be a top 5 tight end. With the uncertainty of Mark Andrews, he might get shipped out. Likely might take over in Baltimore. Who else? I mean, maybe Hawk from the Vikes or obviously Travis Kelce, but I don't see why if Ingram has another monster season, he couldn't be the 4th or 5th best tight end in the league. And then he's your long term. You lock him up, long term deal, whatever the market is for 2024. But yeah, Ingram, I love Kirk, Ridley. I think Jacksonville. I honestly, if they can get a healthy ETN, get a little more in the secondary, that's kind of the weakness. Kansas City kind of exposed that in the divisional playoff game. I mean, they don't have a lot of corners, and so I mean, if they address that in the draft, I mean, this team could be right up there. I mean, they could be, instead of losing to the Bengals, losing to the Chiefs, they could be at that level, where they could probably jump Buffalo. You know what I mean? I don't think they'll quite be Bengals Chiefs, but I mean, I could see them, from being maybe the 4th or 5th best team in the AFC up to the 3rd best team. I love it. Ridley, as long as he's not betting on games, guys, like he was an absolute stud,
right?
For four seasons in Atlanta, the number 1 guy. He's the reason that Julio Jones had probably another year or 2 left in him, and they let him go, to Tennessee and eventually end up in Tampa, but. They let him go because they're like, we got Calvin Ridley. We got a number 1 guy here. We don't need you here. So as long as he's not betting on games, this guy, whether dynasty, 1-year league, which is a lot of what I do. I'm going to jump all over him, especially if he's sitting there in the later rounds and people are kind of sleeping on him, because he hasn't played in a couple of years. It's kind of be a Watson situation. It reminds me a lot of Deshaun Watson, the situation where. I don't see Ridley tearing it up the first half of the season, but he's going to have value on the back end. I think towards week 12, week 13, you'll really start to get dividends from him.
Let's hope it's not that.
Yeah, I like that a lot. What do you think about what do you think about Pollard? What do you think about Pollard? Obviously Jamie's Cowboys fan. Like, what do you guys think about Tony Pollard getting the franchise tag?
I think it makes sense. Oh, go ahead, Jim.
Oh yeah, I was just gonna say, yeah, it totally makes sense. It's the thing. It's what are we gonna do with the Zeke? Are we gonna let Zeke go? Is he gonna stay? Is he gonna take less money to stay? Because in my eyes, I mean, if he does take less money to stay, that'd be good because it would be pack a 1-2 punch with their running back situation. And I like the fact that they're just so close to maybe being Super Bowl contenders again, but as long as they can keep both those guys, I think that would help out Pollard a lot because if you look at it, Zeke had more of the carries. Pollard couldn't really hold up to that. So I mean, I just don't think he could hold up to the amount of carries one can get.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. I actually disagree with you, though, that I'm not so sure the Cowboys are close to anything anymore with the direction they've taken their offense this offseason with the new coaching staff.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's go with the bad version of Green Bay. That worked real well for Aaron Rodgers.
Not that they
They're going
might
to
be,
kill him more. They got to kill him more, Jay.
No, I just think they have good weapons and whatnot. I just don't think they can get over that hump. They're close, but they just can't get over that hump. They have a good team, but it's just one of those things they can't break that hump. That's the way I see it, anyways.
But with the way the tag is now, like, was Pollard on a long-term deal? Was he going to make more than maybe 15? Like, he's probably not even going to make Saquon money.
Oh God,
So
no.
basically, all they did was give him. They basically gave him what he was going to get paid anyways, but on a 1-year deal, so they could see what he's like without Zeke in the lineup anymore. And then they can go long-term at the same amount of money.
And
So there's no risk to anyone involved.
And I was talking to this about with another person. I was thinking, if one of these guys, like one of these running backs, fall to us, if it is Bijan or Gibbs or one of these, which snag one of these guys, and then we'll be set. Yeah, we might hurt in some other areas, but at least our running back situation will be taken care of again.
Oh God, I could totally see Jerry being like he was when Manziel fell. I could totally see him wanting to jump all over Bijan, but I don't think they
Bijan, Robin. Bijan's going to be – he's going to Dallas, baby. It's either going to be the Vikes or Dallas, and we'll get to him in a little bit. But, I love it. I said this right after the season. I'm like, run everything back. If you're Dallas, you run everything back. And that's what they did. They 1-year deal with Pollard. I think Zeke's got one. I think Jerry loves him some Zeke. Everybody loves Zeke. Run it like, hey, one more year. You want to retire? That's fine. If you want to keep playing, it's going to be somebody somewhere else. You're going to have, you'll get your 700-800 yards. You'll get your 7-8 touchdowns. That's you just have to live with that. And Pollard's going to be our feature back, and run it back. And 2024 it could be Bijan. Take it over.
I want to throw out a sleeper for Bijan. It's a team near and dear to Eli's heart.
The Buccaneers,
right here. No, we got a lot of things to address.
Yeah, but they are not in love with White. And they're in a perfect spot to take him. So if they actually believe Trask can be Garoppolo, then I could see them leading into the run game.
We don't have any creative offensive minds on. Todd Bowles is awful. I wish they would have fired him instead of Leftwich. Honestly, we don't have any creative minds on the offensive side of the football. So even if we drafted a few skill position guys, I don't think we'd be able to utilize them. This Bucks. This is going to get bad. And I called this. I told Jamie this. I said we sold our soul for that 2020 Super Bowl, and now we're going to pay the price. You're going to see an awful 3-14 Bucks team out there this year. This will be a bad football team. You just wait. And then next year, and then guess what? We get Drake May or Caleb Williams next year. That's probably what they're going to run Kyle Trask out there. They're going to run Rashad White out there. Mike Evans will be on his retirement tour. Chris Godwin will probably be out the door. They're going to clean house. And then you start over with a Drake May or a Caleb Williams. I love it. It's diabolical. It's genius. And then 2025, second year, you're right back in the mix again. We're bad for a couple years, and Super Bowl. Yeah, exactly. Eric knows you sell your soul for the chip, and then. If you think Bijan would do any good with the Bucks or Jahmyr Gibbs or any of these guys we're going to talk about, you're dead wrong. This Bucks team is bad. It's going to get bad.
It depends on how much they want
Winston
to get out
back
of
to Tampa.
defense before they.
Maybe.
That's not unlikely, actually.
No, it sounds like they're. Yeah, it sounds like that though. Winston's gonna be a June cut, so he can go wherever he wants to after that. So maybe he can go back to Tampa. That'd be interesting. They don't have nothing there.
Hey, Hey, Jay, we got a 17th game now. I think there's a possibility that Jameis could top his 30 picks from 2019. Let's go for the NFL record. Let's go for 34.
Oh my God!
Might as well set a record. Yeah, bring Jameis back. Let's put the band back together.
I want to circle back to something Eli said. I didn't get a chance to touch on it when he said it. He was talking about Evan Ingram popping off for one more year and being considered a top 5 tight end after that. Why aren't we considering him a top 5 tight end now? Because he had one awful year and a half with the Clapper as an offensive coordinator and no wide receivers on that offense at the time. The worst head coach in the history of football.
Right.
Before that, he was a legit top 5 tight end rookie.
Yep, I think.
He's a top. Wasn't he a top 10 pick? Eric or Chad or somebody can correct me. I thought Evan Ingram was at least a first. I know he's a first round. I'm not sure exactly where he went, but you're right. No, you guys are right though. I mean, yeah, absolutely. He was a highly touted tight end. I think he was number 1 in his class. So I just consider. We had a tight end list a couple weeks ago on the show, and I consider Hawkinson better. I consider even with a monster season, Ingram. I still consider Hawkinson better, Kelsey better. The other guys, I think I don't see why he couldn't jump. Absolutely jump Darren Waller if he hasn't already. I mean, Kittle's on the downside. Kittle's on the downside. I still consider Kittle. I would still. Like if we had a draft mock draft, I would still.
Purdy's in at quarterback, yes, because Purdy and Kittle had something magical last year.
Yeah, if it's Trey Lance, you might as well discount anybody. I mean, maybe Debo because he's a dual threat. Everybody else, you can pretty much just. Ayuk and he ain't gonna be doing shit. Kittle ain't gonna be doing shit. Jennings, any of the guys.
Really, the only other contenders at tight end. Would be why am I drawing a blank on his name? Chicago.
Oh, Kmet?
Cole Kmet.
If he takes another step forward this year and Justin Fields balls out like he should, he could be right in that 5 to 8 range. And the other one is in. We're going back to Eli for this one, Mr. Cade on all out on his own now.
Yep, Oden. Yeah, Mr. Oden. Yeah, because I got him. I actually got him in my tight.
He looked so good down the stretch.
Yep, 65 targets, 42 receptions, 392 yards, 2 touchdowns.
Evans is fried.
He had the only bad thing is he had 5 drops. He had 5 drops, and that's no fumbles or anything like that. So for me, for tight end kind of being mediocre like that, yeah, I mean that's we talked about that too with the tight end, our tight end stuff. It's kind of like
I honestly I had Cade on. I had Cade Otten. You're right, but I had Cade Otten at 23. Like if we would have done the full 32 list, I have him at 23. I don't think you can put. I mean, he had, like I said, he had a short stretch. At the end of the season. So I saw what he did down the stretch last 5-6 games. He's the reason Cam Brate's gone. Kyle Rudolph was a 1-year guy. He's out the door.
With Brate gone, he should go quite a bit higher because he's going to be getting probably get close to 100% of the snaps now.
Oh, especially Jameis. Jameis loved it. I mean, people forget. Jameis and Cam Brate had a good thing going. Especially the 2016 year. I mean, Cam Brate had a monster season. It had like 8 touchdowns over 600 yards. So for Cam Brate standards, I mean, not Kelsey or anything, but So I mean, maybe Jameis comes bask in the mix and Cade Otten can have a 900 yard season.
He ain't going to be thrown downfield.
Hell knows. Or Trask, rookie or young guy doesn't. There's no special about him at all. I love Kyle Trask. If we're trying to go 2-15 or 3-14, Kyle Trask is my guy 7 days a week and twice on Sunday.
All right. So if we're gonna get anywhere now, we got to start talking about some of these sophomore guys here. Sorry to cut you guys off, but
Trask is basically a sophomore.
But so there was one guy who
no,
actually
he's in the perennial sophomore slump though. Yeah.
We can skip over this guy.
We might be able to skip over this guy, but this is one guy that he will more than likely, hopefully if everything turns out, hopefully he can play this year because he didn't play last year. It's some medical stuff, issues going on. So hopefully he actually surpassed a lot of this stuff, and this might be a guy to look at, especially coming into the second year he didn't play, but hopefully we hear some good things. I want to see this guy play. If you think about it, well, I was just going to mention real quick, if they end up with Bryce Young, this could be match up with, because, Mechie, he came from Alabama.
Yeah, John Mechie was there. Mechie was an absolute stud. I'm sorry what happened to him. Was it cancer or leukemia? I'm trying to think of what he was battling, but I'm glad he was able to overcome that. But they had a great thing going at Bama a couple years ago, and we saw what happened with Joe Burrow when he reconnected with Jamar Chase. Enough said. That's probably the best combo in the league now. So Mechie and Bryce Young, like I've said before, he'd be terrible in Chicago or an outdoors kind of Pittsburgh, Green Bay kind of situation, but indoors in a southern climate against a shitty division like facing the Colts and what the Titans, we don't know what the hell is going to happen with them. Bryce Young will thrive there, and if Mechie is because Brandon Cooks is on the downside of his career, and I don't even know if Brandon Cooks will be back. So Mechie could easily on a bad maybe 5-win Texan team, Mechie could be the number one guy. And this guy was highly touted too before his illness, So I don't know if Jay projected that or if those are the projected numbers, but that's a monster season.
No, these are his college record, his college. I tried looking for projections for him. So these were just his college stuff that he put up. Okay. So you can see that why he was took it pretty much in the first round. You can see why.
This needs a giant asterisk and absolute ginormous asterisk.
Why is that?
Mechie was the burner on a team that had Devonta Smith and Jalen Waddle.
No, yeah.
This guy was always open by default.
Always got to be pessimistic, Chad. Always.
He ain't gonna be open when his other wide receivers are. Can we name another Texans wide receiver besides Cooks who's gonna be gone? And Jimmy Garoppolo is gonna be throwing to him.
Yeah, I don't know about Jimmy G down in Texas, but yeah.
I own our 16-man league. I had to use a few of those Texan receivers. I should know them, but I just
I know
because of injuries. No, I know you make a good point though.
Mechie would be perfect in Tampa with Godwin and Evans and a competent quarterback. That's the role he's perfect for. He's got the speed, but he can't be a number one. His numbers are going to be.
You think you just think he's strictly like a speedster number 3 guy, like a Tyler Boyd, just like he benefits from having two elite guys in front of him.
I think Boyd could be a serviceable number 2, and we've seen bits and pieces of it when people have been hurt. Remember when Ted Ginn got a brief shot at being the number 1 guy in New Orleans?
Go ahead. We're listening.
No, it wasn't very good, but he had a couple of productive years in Miami, though. Ginn wasn't a total bust. If Mechie could have a Ted Ginn kind of career, that wouldn't be. I wouldn't call that a bust.
It'd be good for him.
Ted Ginn's not a Hall of Fame.
But for fantasies, it's not exactly appealing, though.
Yeah, but he's going to be going. It's a low stock though. Is the way we should look, and that's why I like Jay bringing him up here because it's a low buy. Mechie, because of his illness, he's been off the radar for a couple years. He, like I said, he kind of hid underneath. He had Devonta Smith and was there a guy I'm thinking of? Is there a guy in that? Yeah. Oh yeah, fucking Jalen. What? Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Dude, that's the greatest.
See
That's
why
the
there's
greatest
an
college
asterisk.
receiving core ever. I
Yeah,
mean, you
it
can
is.
argue maybe Jamar Chase and Justin Jefferson at LSU a couple years ago, but I mean, this is 1A. I mean, in terms of receiving cores in college of all time. Yeah, but if he went to if he went to Cincinnati, he'd be a number 4 right now. I mean, obviously on the depth chart, obviously, but the Texans don't really have anybody, and like we always say, somebody's got to get the targets, especially if they're going to put Bryce Young. If Bryce Young's going to be, Davis Mills he's a career backup. Let's not kid ourselves here. So if they draft Bryce Young that high, he's going to be playing. If not day 1, he'll be playing week 4 or 5. And so I don't see why, if Michi's healthy, why Michi can't come in and kind of have an under the radar season. Be a late round pick. Be a whatever size league you got. You would do 12, 16, 20 men. I think Michi's got some value late. He's not going to go high, so I think you just you take that into consideration, because not all these guys. Definitely. I mean, we're going to bring up Chris Olave here. We're going to bring up George Pickens, James Cook. Quite a few names we've heard of, but this guy's been off the radar. I get what Chad's saying. He benefited from having two absolute studs. I mean, Devontae Smith is the number 2 guy on a Super Bowl contending team. Jalen Waddle is a number. That's not saying anything, because Tyreek Hill's a Hall of Fame receiver, so Jalen Waddle being a number 2 in Miami is that's no knock on him. So these are 2 legit number 2 guys in the NFL. I mean, 2 great number 2s in the NFL. And Michi benefited in college, but you hook him up with, especially with his quarterback, it's not going to be an unfamiliar situation. I like it. I like bringing up John Michi here, because I wasn't even thinking about it when we were bringing up second year guys. Michi hadn't even crossed my mind, because he's been off the radar for a couple of years, but I like it.
If his ADP rises at all because Cooks gets traded and he starts getting, he's perfect as a guy you get at the end of the draft. If he starts going mid,
I agree.
Mid rounds, it's just going to be too much.
Yeah.
By the way, shout out to the 2000 Miami Hurricanes, the true greatest trio of all time: Andre Johnson, Santana Moss, Reggie Wayne.
Yeah, those are classics. Santana Moss was a burner. He was a burner. Reggie,
Moss.
Yeah,
Reggie Wayne, Hall of Fame level guy.
Reggie and Andre Johnson.
Yeah,
Andre Johnson, Hall of Fame level guy. Damn straight. Yeah, that's a good. Yeah, that's a little dated, but yeah, that's absolutely that. Holy shit! Yeah, that might be.
Yeah, and that's why I brought up Mitchie, because he's been off the radar for so long, and this is, I'm sure if he's healthy by then, he'll be kind of in the talks of maybe getting in training camp and all that stuff, hopefully. So I mean, I was going to do a little bit, see where he was at with all that, but this is one guy I figured we'd bring up, because he was not even on the radar at all, because he got a lot of these other guys up in there. So I mean, I just wanted to talk about him a little bit, because if he's available, I'm going to take a risk on him myself.
Yeah.
So I guess what I know, Mechie's not cleared yet, but D'Amico Ryans has been saying that he's hopeful he will get cleared for OTAs.
Yeah, so he's kind of promising, hopefully. Anyway, so I mean, hopefully he'll be able to play this year.
Let's just hope they do get Bryce Young, because Bryce wants it. But everything I'm hearing is everyone wants Jimmy G in that office there.
Yeah, that's going to be a tough one. That's for damn sure. But, if you think about it, free agency is going to be opening up this weekend. So, I mean, there's going to be a lot of people just going all over the place. And this is going to mix up a lot of things. So, I mean, I'm sure with our next show, we'll be talking about a lot of different things for sure. But yeah, I guess our next guy we can actually talk about is actually Drake London. I mean, he had a pretty good season, 866 yards. I mean, he, 117 targets, I mean, the only guy in that damn offense, I mean, I don't know. Only 4 touchdowns, though. I mean, come on.
Who the hell else do they have? Kyle Pitt, when we were doing tight end rankings a few weeks ago, 2 years ago, that would have been like suicide. Like they would have canceled our show had you not put Kyle Pitts as like a top 10 tight end. But it hadn't even crossed Jay's mind. I mean, that's how bad this, aerially. I mean, Desmond Ridder is garbage. He's another second year guy. Hopefully you don't have a graphic for him. Atrocious. He's right. They're right there with the Bucks. I mean, I like Tyler Algier, but I like the running back. If Cordero comes back for another year, I don't know if he's going to retire or end up somewhere else. But with Algier, they have a decent running game, which is what you would expect with an Arthur Smith offense. From what he brought over from Tennessee. So I mean, Atlanta, their defense is get out of here. Atlanta's defense mid-pack, and so I'm trying to talk up the Falcons here because maybe Anthony's. I know Anthony's a Falcons fan. Josh Hall, who plays in our fucking leagues.
Anthony's probably going to say "fuck Arthur Smith." Fan. Like, come on now. Like we think Mike McCarthy's bad,
but this passing. I agree. This passing game is atrocious. Drake London is the only guy you can count on, and even if they go out and they get the kid from USC. Forget what slips my mind now. He was at Pitt and then he transferred to USC. But yeah, talent at that level, possibly bring it in. But I don't see Desmond Ritter's not gonna light the world on fire. He's not like a Dak. He's not a low round pick that's gonna start tearing it. He's not Russ. When Russ was productive, he was not mid round guy that's gonna blow the world up. He's not even Brock Purdy. I mean, come on now. I think Ritter would be like the number 3 guy with the 49ers. I mean, he's no better than that. So it's gonna be a bad team, but somebody's got to get the targets. And if it's not gonna be Kyle Pitts, it's gonna be Drake London. I don't see why you got 117 targets as a rookie. I don't see why that couldn't go up. Mariota's kind of he's not a big. Mariota's not a big volume thrower either, and that's who was throwing to him last year. So even if they do roll Ritter out there, I don't see why he can't get 120, 125 targets. Easy. And then, up the catch rate a little bit. Maybe he jumps up to 85 grabs. And, we had 13 catches there, let's say 150 yards. Boom, you have over 1,000-yard receiver, at a couple touchdowns. Yeah, you get an 85 catch, 1,000, maybe 1,100 yards, 6 touchdown season. That's damn good for a bad team that a number 1 on a bad team. And then God, what the fuck's what's his name? What's the kid's name that everybody's talking about with the number 1 receiver? The hell am I thinking of? He's at USC.
Oh, Jordan Addison. Jordan Addison.
Jordan Addison. Thank you, Jordan Addison. So you'd have 2 USC guys. Maybe that would help. But regardless, Chad's right. Arthur Smith will be fired. So if Falcons don't win
mid-season.
I don't know about that, but yeah, no, if they don't, and they won't because they're awful, and the Saints and Panthers will be competing for the division title, and they sure as hell ain't getting a wild card. Not with some of the other heavyweights in the conference. So he's getting shit canned. Absolutely.
They're not interested in Lamar Jackson whatsoever.
No, they're not. Yeah,
but I would make that happen. I know you're not a big Lamar fan. I mean, to cut you off, Jay, but to get to Chad quick, I don't know why the hell it makes perfect sense. He's perfect for the Falcons. No shit. He's Michael Vick Part 2.
Well, not even that. Even if he's just mediocre, they have a cheap tight end, a cheap wide receiver. They can draft another cheap wide receiver and put all the money into the quarterback position.
Yeah, they could. I mean, it would make total
4
sense.
4 years with Lamar, it's whatever amount he wants. I'll give him $100 million a year if you have to.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they should have won a championship a long time ago if they couldn't do with.
You're not paying anyone else in the entire roster.
No,
I can't name who their highest paid player is.
Yeah, me neither. Because
I can. It's probably Younghoe Koo.
Because that's all he can do is kick balls. That's hilarious. But if you had to draft Drake London, where would you guys actually draft him? What do you think is he a second, third rounder, or actually is he a middle tier guy?
Or are we talking
Mid-rounder.
redraft?
Yeah, just redraft in general, or if you're in Dynasty, I'm sure you got him, but just redraft in general.
Yeah, if you're in a redraft league,
he's in that Brandon Cooks range.
So kind of middle tier, maybe 7. Probably not 7. I think he'd
he's
probably be a 6.
I think
He'd probably be a 6.
I think he's above Brandon Cook. Brandon Cooks can't stay healthy, and he's kind of shot at this.
People overdraft him. So
I think he's kind of right in that middle.
Yeah, I would 6th round. Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah, I would probably kind of see that there. Maybe right around there. Not first or second rounder, but kind of probably right in the middle there. Yeah, I could probably see that for sure because there's some other guys that might go over him, and this might be one of them.
This is one of them.
Now I think about it, it might even be higher because the wide receiver position is skewed so young at this point that there aren't a ton of options ahead of him. It's guys on this list, Justin Jefferson and Devontae.
Well, let's see. Would you take Drake London over Jamison Williams?
God, no.
Yes, absolutely.
Would you take Drake London over Treylon Burks?
Yes.
Would you take Drake London over Christian Watson?
No.
Depends on who the quarterback is.
Would you take Drake London over Pickens?
No.
That's the line. I think that's where
I would take Pickens over London. That's me. Would you take would you take London over Alec Pierce?
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah, Alec Pierce. Come on now. No.
Yep. And the last one, Sky Moore. Would you take him over Sky Moore?
That's an interesting one. That guy, because he might have some.
I think Tony's for real. He's going to be a miserable piece to own, but I think Tony's real in that offense.
It depends if they. It depends, Jay. It depends if they bring back Juju. If Juju is back in the mix, then Sky Moore has no value whatsoever. But if they get, if they kind of go with the youth movement, with Kadarius Toney and Sky Moore, kind of be the feature, and then get sign a cheap veteran, maybe trade for Allen Robinson or something. Who knows? Then Sky Moore would have a little more. But he's not Pickens. He's not Drake London. No, absolutely not.
And being we're just talking about all these sophomores here. Had Alec Pierce, you had Wan'Dale Robinson. Jalen Tolbert wasn't even. He was a mess. Didn't even hardly even play. You got Shakir, and you got Velus Jones, and the other guy. You got Thornton from the Patriots. He had a little bit. He was injured a little bit, but out of all these guys, these top guys you'd be looking at is probably Wilson, Olave, Pickens, London, maybe Williams if he can actually get his shit together. You can put Watson, probably London, then Watson, and then Jamison Williams. Burks still has, I think he still has some room to grow yet.
I think there's still going to be, who was the other one in Green Bay?
Oh, Dobbs.
I think we're going to see a lot of
Dobbs.
Yep.
I see we're going to see a resurgence. That's why Watson's a little messy.
Yeah,
especially because we don't know if Jordan Love's the quarterback, which one of the two wide receivers does he prefer?
I think if it comes to be a Watson, it seemed like he was more of his guy because if he had seven odd touchdowns, Dobbs, not even sure what he had. I'm sure he had Christian.
Rodgers is a prima donna though, and if you fall out of favor with him, you're kind of screwed.
Yeah,
it's very Brady-esque.
Yeah, I probably
should. If you fall out of favor, you aren't going to get shit.
Chad, he won't be there. he won't even.
Exactly.
It's gonna be.
So does that mean Dobbs does a hell of a lot better now that Rodgers isn't there?
I think both of them. Honestly, I think Dobbs and I think Watson could be like a sleeper All-Pro kind of guy. Like honestly, and then Romeo Doubs isn't far behind. I mean, I think Love has worked with them. Obviously, probably he's not Rodgers. He's not climbing into a black hole for in the offseason. I mean, I think this kid would kind of do the Mahomes thing, invite him to his house or work in the offseason. I think they can all build a rapport. And if they end up taking one of the tight ends, Kincaid or Meyer from Notre Dame, or they end up taking Addison from USC. You make that offense even more lethal because we know Allen Lazard ain't coming back. So yeah, I'd like what if they move off Rodgers, I'd have a higher opinion of Green Bay, absolutely. And both those receivers both be studs.
I just worry for fantasy. I worry for fantasy that they'd eat too much into each other, and that's why when we said Watson, that's why Watson was a little bit too low for me to put London under.
Yeah, I mean,
because London doesn't have to fight with all that.
Yeah,
and I think they're going to be a run-first offense too.
Yeah, I mean, there's going to be a mix of that. So I mean, London under, London just a little bit above Watson, but if it came to be, if Allen is gone, or Lazard is gone, Watson could be totally the guy there. I mean, that's he was drafted in the first pick, second round right away off the board. So I mean. He went off. I mean, I think he's like 6'1", 6'2", and a speedster, and that's why they end up drafting him. I mean, if you look at all these guys that they end up leaving with, so I would go Christian Watson over Dobbs myself.
Yeah, it was chaos there because it was
definitely.
Dobbs at first, and Watson was Rodgers hated Watson. Dobbs was thriving. Dobbs gets hurt. Watson has one amazing game. Rodgers falls back in love with him, and off we went the rest of the season.
Yep. We should get back to Mr. George Pickens. But I know what I mean. I guess go ahead.
I was going to say quick. We'll get back on track here with some of these guys. But George Pickens, obviously, he only had what 53 grabs on 84 targets. So, but 801 yards, 4 touchdowns, 3 drops, not terrible.
No,
I mean, who's he? Mr. Mr. I've taken DJ Moore's place as being the receiver that can't catch a touchdown. Mr. Deontay Johnson. No, he easily jump him. Claypool. I mean, he's garbage. We saw what he did in the second half of the season with the Bears. I mean, he's probably going to get cut. And they wasted a trading a draft pick for his dumb ass. So I think Claypool's been a bust. So they got rid of him. There's nobody in the way. There is nobody in the way that's going to stop Pickens and Pickett. And it sounds like a law firm, Pickens and Pickett. I love it. And Kenny Pickett, he's another second-year guy that's going to make an ascent. So I can see Pickens having a 1,000-yard season. That wouldn't shock me. I think it's going to be a run-heavy offense. Like it's been, they're going to go to Fryer, a lot of Freiermuth, a lot of Najee. But, he'll be the number one guy in Pittsburgh. And, he's not going to be a world beater, not going to be an all-pro kind of guy. But, I mean, George Pickens is going to have a very productive season coming up. And, I'll see where you guys think about drafting him. But I was going to get one thing before I get off here quick, get off the horse. Jalen Tolbert. Mike McCarthy, when he was in Green Bay, it took back in the day, it took Devontae a couple of years to get going. It took even further back, Greg Jennings took him a few years to get going. I think it's more complicated of an offense than we think. So just because Tolbert kind of had a rough rookie year doesn't mean that end of 2023, beginning of 2024, he's not a productive number 2 guy. Obviously, he's not CD. But, Michael Gallup's not a world beater. If he picks up this offense, they're going to give him an opportunity. I mean, he was a 3rd-round pick, and I don't think they're going to cut him. So I could see Tolbert jumping out. He could be a sleeper here. He could be a late round guy or undrafted guy that you could just swipe up that people are sleeping on. So another second-year guy.
Yeah, it's very possible, too. I mean, I've been waiting. I mean, I had a share of Tolbert for a little bit, hoping maybe he'd, get his crap together and whatnot. And then it's like, he didn't even play. So I'm like, God damn. I mean, they had Gallup, but, Gallup was kind of he was kind of injured too, coming back from his injury. So it's kind of like Gallup we'll have to see what Gallup does next year. If not, we can say, see you later. But anyways, yes, we should get back to, unless you had one quick comment, Chad, at all, or
I did. I just want to say Dallas has this weird knack with their offense where their number one receiver is always a star. Their number two wide receiver always underperforms. And then the number three wide receiver is the sneaky guy you want for fantasy.
yeah.
For years, it was Cole Beasley.
Yeah.
Noah Brown is that next guy.
Yep.
Noah
we've
Brown.
seen that.
I like him too.
Yeah,
like
we've
him
seen
too.
that with it. So if Tolbert can get into that spot, that's when we'll really see him pop off.
Yeah,
That's what we thought. James Washington was supposed to be there.
Yep, he
last
didn't
year.
even play, and we cut him.
It
so
just
it's
never.
like-
It just never happened.
That bum's gonna be out of the league. He'll be lucky to get on with a 2024 XFL team.
I'm surprised he's not with the current
James Washington.
XFL team.
He stinks. He stinks.
But yes,
Stench.
let's get back to Pickens here, because we got some other guys in the list to be talking about here, and we got to keep up rolling. So, what do you guys think about Pickens here? I mean, you guys think he's, where's his value at, coming into this year?
He's a more physical Drake London. He's honestly very much the same player.
Yeah, you think he's a number one guy, number two guy with that offense, or? I'm pretty sure he'll get drafted before, he'll be a third or fourth round guy for sure.
Yeah, he'll get overdrafted.
Yeah, he's going to go ahead of Deontay.
But he's probably a late fifth, early sixth guy.
I wouldn't say late fifth. I'd say he's probably a fifth round pick. I don't think there's going to be a super hype train, but he was productive. Like I said, he was productive at Georgia. He had a decent rookie year. Didn't shit the bed or anything. So he's going to get more targets next year. Kenny Pickett's going to be the quarterback from day one. This is his guy. They're attached at the hip. I mean, this it's not going to be Chase and Burrow, but I mean, this is going to be his target. Like the next how many 5-6 years, this is his guy. So I think definitely over 100 targets for sure. I can guarantee you. Not sure exactly where. I would say fifth round like Chad, but target wise, definitely over 100.
Yeah. Yeah, just looking at these guys, Drake London had 117 targets. Pickens had 84 targets. But if you think about it, with the less receptions, he did more. He ended up doing more average wise than London, because if you think about it, London had 866 and Pickens 801. I mean, if he actually had a few more targets, I'm pretty sure he would have passed London with yardage wise. And if you think about average wise, he was getting 15 yards per catch. London was only at 12. So I mean, you can kind of see the difference between these two guys.
Got that yak, son. Got that yak. Yakety yak. Don't come back.
Right? Oh, good gravy. Well, I like Pickens, and we should get into our next guy here. Garrett Wilson. Man,
yeah. Big. Big ticket. This is the guy. This is the dude. Aaron Rodgers behind center. Weird hippie black hole shit and all. That guy behind center, and not some scrub like Zach Wilson or Mike White or Walter White or whoever the hell else they put under center. Aaron Rodgers with this guy equals all pro. Yeah, I said it. This guy, 147 targets as a rookie. What the hell is he? Michael Thomas, in his prime? Like,
maybe.
No.
I love it's the volume. It's the volume, Chad. It is the volume. Look at this. Look, 150 targets is not out of the question by any means. Elijah Moore is kind of a scrub. He's not a out of the league kind of guy, but I mean, he's probably number 3. So who's going to compete for target? Maybe they bring in one of Rodgers' boys from maybe Alan Lazard, falls him over to the Jets. But I think 83 and 103. I mean, that's going to be a little low. I mean, this guy's going to get 100 balls. Going to catch 100 balls. I would say, what was his 13.3 average? I mean, yeah, if he follows through on that, that's a 13, 1330, 1350 kind of season. Touchdowns were a little low, but if you have there's a big difference between Joe 85-year-old Joe Flacco throwing you the football and Mr. Bang Brothers MILF Hunter himself, Zach Wilson, who posts 7 touchdowns in a year. Aaron Rodgers could, even at this stage, Aaron Rodgers could easily put up 28 to 30 touchdowns, and a lot of I could see 10 of those going to Garrett Wilson. He's gonna make a major jump because everybody knows he's got the goods. I'll see what you guys got to say, but this is all projected on Aaron Rodgers being there, and if that's the case, I'm not gonna take him above Devontae or I
have a hot take alert coming.
but he's going to be a high pick. He's going to be a high pick. I mean, as a rookie, he was a mid-round pick. People knew how good he was. Now he's going to – because Aaron Rodgers is going to the Jets. That's going to happen. And he's going to be a high pick, and as he should be. Go ahead, Chad. Give me that hot take. Give me the hot burn. It burns.
He should, and in many cases will be, the third wide receiver off the board.
Ooh.
That's bold. That's bold.
Yeah, that is bold.
Devontae doesn't have a quarterback.
Yeah,
true. Jared Stidham.
It's not.
Oh, I know.
Tyreek on the back end of his career.
Agreed.
Kupp's coming back from injury. Diggs is on the back end of his career. Amon-Ra is going to have Jameson Williams.
I'm on Ra.
Okay.
I was going to say quick. Jameson Williams is kind of in the doghouse right now, so we don't know what his situation is going to be like. In terms of volume. I'm on Ra. He might be in the top 5 himself. I mean, we could be talking about a couple. This is the young. I mean, these are the young guns. I mean, this is a new crop coming in that's gonna take Devontae and Tyreek's spot. I mean, these 2 young cats here. Garrett Wilson and St. Brown I like a lot too. But that's bold, Chad.
You get the Philly wide receivers and then what? Jalen Waddle. So they're all those guys in that range are cannibalizing each other.
Yeah.
And then what's that? What, you want DK Metcalf? Yeah, sure.
Well, so you already
There's no upside. Where's the upside in any of these guys except for maybe Waddle? Where's the upside in these guys? The upside in Garrett Wilson is Justin Jefferson.
Yep. I mean, he's not a top. I don't see him going number 3. Yeah.
Well, let's just go down the list here. Well, Jay was asking earlier. Let me ask you: AJ Brown or Garrett Wilson?
AJ Brown.
It probably should be AJ Brown, but I've always felt Devonta was better. But that's just me.
That's why we have you. That's why we have you here, buddy. We want to get. I know. I love these these bold takes, man. I love. So we got Justin Jefferson or Garrett
Chase
Wilson.
And Jefferson or Jefferson and Chase are 1 and 2. That's not changing.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So if he's 3, the debate comes in, and I'm not gonna shit on it because I think Garrett Wilson he's not at that level, but he's got the capability, especially with a quarterback like Aaron Rodgers. If Rodgers shows up and plays like he can, he's got that capability.
Healthy Kupp, it's definitely healthy Kupp, but then who's his quarterback? We don't know yet.
Kupp, it's hard because Kupp, Devontae, AJ Brown. It's hard to have him jump. Maybe you could argue he could jump T. Higgins, like maybe, but I mean it's going to be it'll be hard. He's going to be a high pick, but there's some stiff competition. The
reason Wilson's below those guys is they have a floor he doesn't.
Yeah, I just don't see him being the 3rd guy taking off. I can see him maybe being the 8th guy coming off the board, but I don't see him.
That's probably where he ends up. He's definitely closer to 8 to 12. I'm saying at the end of the season, he's probably going to be somewhere in the 3 to 5 range overall.
Yeah, yeah.
If he
Season
does what we
wise, yeah,
think he.
yeah. Season wise, like total season wise, yeah. If he can be a top five guy, yeah, that'd be dope as hell. I mean, drafting wise, yeah, I don't. I see him maybe going
And we're
eighth.
gonna we're gonna get to another name on this list that's also gonna go in that range.
Oh, I'm sure he will. That's for damn sure. But I mean, I like for a lot of these rookies, there's only two rookies that had 1,000 yards, and this is the other guy, you know, Chris Olave. I mean,
And this is the
he's
other guy we're gonna talk about in that range.
Uh, yeah, he's if Garrett Wilson is one, this guy's 1-1A. I mean, this is the. I love that Derek Carr signing. They actually have a real quarterback now, not some scrub like Jameis Winston or Andy Dalton. I mean, Derek Carr. You say what you want. Derek Carr is a professional top 15 quarterback. He can put up numbers. Chris Olave is going to be the number one guy in New Orleans. 119 targets last year. That's going to be up. I mean, Derek Carr.
Sure.
Derek Carr is going to treat him. Derek Carr is going to treat him damn near like Devontae. I mean, this guy is going to get 130, 135 targets. I think that goes up. The catches could go up. I mean, if he's getting, he's in that 8. To me, he's in that 8 to 12. Oh, go ahead, Chad.
119 with Taysom Hill, with
Andy
Dalton.
Andy Dalton, Jameis Winston.
Like, you say what you will about the Jets, Mike White's probably better than all three of them.
I think he is.
It's close. This guy still had 100. I'm sure they probably didn't throw 10 times a game with Taysom.
What are everybody's thoughts out there, man?
He could break the reception record on that offense.
Get some damn comments. Eric, my brother Eric's a damn Saints fan. Come on, man. I know you got something in the bag. Come on now. But Olave, let's say we add on 15 targets. That's what 8-9 catches. Get him up over 80. Add on some yardage. Maybe 80 catches, 1,200 yards. That's not out of the realm of possibility. 4 touch. Another guy with low touchdowns. Touchdowns were just down all around last year. If you're not named Burrow or Mahomes, I mean the touchdowns were just we're used to like the top 5 quarterbacks putting up 40 touchdowns. I mean that's what we've been used to, and that just wasn't the case last year. So maybe touchdowns go back up next year because a lot of these guys were, and he's got a professional quarterback throwing in the football, a lot like Garrett Wilson. Aaron Rodgers, Derek Carr, not much of a difference anymore. I mean Rodgers isn't what he used to be. But he's definitely an upgrade, and Derek Carr the same thing. I don't see why Chris Olave couldn't jump up to maybe 9 touchdowns, 80 catches, 1,200 yards, 9 touchdowns. That's not out of the possibility. Being a number one guy with the Saints, kind of a 9-8, 10-7 kind of team. That's all very possible. Especially with Kamara. You don't know what Kamara, if they're going to keep him. I mean, he doesn't have much left in the tank, so. It's not going to be a heavy team. I think Derek Carr's going to be chucking the ball. That's going to benefit my main man Juwan Johnson too. And we had him pretty high up on the tight end post too. So yeah, Saints all around. I mean, if they could sign a veteran receiver to go with him, you ain't going to stop Chris Olave.
Yeah,
well, that's what's going to get interesting. Landry's going to be gone.
Yep. Yeah, got to. He's done.
Callaway's a restricted free agent. I think he'll be gone too.
You got Rashid.
Yeah, you can't pay. He's not good enough to match that. Get rid of him.
I'm going to say right here, I think we might see 150 targets.
Ooh,
that's very and that's
especially
very
since they want to get far away from the Alvin Kamara experience soon.
Yeah, and that all comes down to if Kamara if he is suspended or not. I mean, I could see them probably going, wide receiver heavy. The other running backs, that they have is I think they had they actually had David Johnson for a little bit.
Yeah, they have David Johnson. They brought in Mark Ingram. Both of them are free agents too.
Yeah. There was one other guy I was trying to think of. They brought in Eno Benjamin. That's insane. There was one rookie that I was trying to find here quick that they had, but maybe he's gone now. But yeah, maybe went off to a different team. But their running backs is not great. I mean, they're not going to do anything. I mean, Tyson Hill. I don't think that whole gadget thing is done and over with. So I mean, I can see Olave actually, being blossoming pretty damn well.
And they're not going to bring in another vet. I mean, there's no point in that. I mean, you just paid Derek Carr all that money. You have Alvin Kamara, who is, he's not top 5 anymore, but I don't see why he couldn't still be a maybe top 20 back. I don't see why that's, and are you really going to replace that kind of production? I wouldn't. I mean, he's still a starting level guy, just not what he's been. And I think he's got one more year, and then you cut bait with him, and then or they can draft a guy this year. Maybe the Saints go and get their Gibbs from Alabama. I think he'd be great. He'd be great there.
Yeah, and, they're comping him to Kamara. So I mean that would be damn wise.
I was thinking the same thing. Yeah, you're thinking the same thing I am. Like that would be a seamless transition from Alvin Kamara to Jahmyr Gibbs. So I'd like that a lot. Yeah, this Saints team, they got you can say what you want, defensive coach, but with that division, at least for the next year or two, I mean, Saints got a bright future. Absolutely.
I think it's more likely they end up with someone like Spears. I think Gibbs might be too high of a price for them with all of their defensive needs, but someone like Spears out of Tulane would make a lot of sense at running back.
Yeah,
they're definitely going to draft at least one running back, if not two.
Yeah,
somewhere during day 2.
Yeah, with us running just a little, I was hoping to maybe just a little bit of the rookies, but maybe next time we can kind of toss in some of these other rookies. But Eli, we'll kind of get in.
The only rookie you need to talk about is Bijan.
There's more than that. Bad. Yeah, Bijan, yes, but I think there's more than just Bijan. I think there's other guys out there. It was funny because I was watching Keaton Mitchell from East.
He loves that guy.
Yes,
James been talking him. That's Chris Johnson. That's Chris Johnson part 2, Chad. You just wait.
Yeah, That's
his draft class for fantasy starts and end with Bijan and probably Mayer and Kincaid. I hate the wide receiver class.
Yeah, I didn't really pay too.
If you watch the bowl season, you already know Quinn Johnson basically tanked his career during bowl season.
Yep, I didn't watch most
of
the bowl.
Awful.
Yep, I didn't catch a lot of the wide receiver stuff.
But
he faced a real defense.
Johnston, but
garbage.
Yeah, Quentin Johnston is still probably the second best receiver in the class, though. That's not saying a lot, but he's still going to be probably early second round pick. So we'll see what happens. Let's see where he ends. I mean, a lot of these guys have bad games. Not everybody's going to be the fucking Georgia receiver and tear it up every game. Because they've got the best coordinators and the best quarterbacks. So let's give Quentin Johnston a little bit of time, though, because I think he made their quarterback, whatever his name, Max. I forget what his name was, but the TCU quarterback. But I think he made him. So Quentin Johnston, see what happens there. Maybe we'll talk about him in a few weeks. Maybe we'll do this with some receivers.
He's just a slot guy. He'll be fine, but his upside is like Cole Beasley level.
Maybe. But I'm going to bring up 2 running backs here quick. And they haven't been the sexy, the ones that everybody's been talking about. It's obviously Bijan and Gibbs from Alabama, A-Chain from Texas A&M. He's another guy. He is, a lot of the bigger name guys that are going to pop, and they're going to be probably Sean Tucker from Syracuse. I heard, I was kind of reading some stuff, and so I got the team there. Oh, what's up?
No to Sean Tucker. Don't go near it. Trust me. I follow that team very closely. That team absolutely, they had their heart ripped out, and the players just gave up. Tucker included. They just all gave up, and that is not a player you want in the NFL.
I'll that's your opinion. I'll wait. I'll wait and see. But he like I said, he'd work good. A lot like Gibbs, not quite as good. But I could see him being a solid. And the teams that we're looking at him, I mean, the Patriots would fix that. I mean, Patriots have had their issues the last few years, since Brady and Josh McDaniels left. But Patriots, they that's straight discipline. He goes to New England, they won't put up with that shit. They'll get the most out of him. Especially with Bill O'Brien coming in as the offensive coordinator, and he would kind of fit what they do. But he had 13 total touchdowns, had over 1,000 yards last year at Syracuse. I think 11 rushing, 2 receiving, and then Zach Charbonnet. Makes me want to have a glass of wine here. Maybe I will after the show. Zach Charbonnet. And now this guy's Chad. Even Chad can't hate on this guy. Just ran a 4.5, which isn't not a burner, but he's a north and south running back. I mean, this is your traditional. Reminds me a lot of AJ Dillon from the Packers. Just a big bruising guy. And I think he'll put on weight at the NFL level. I think he's 6 foot. Could easily see him at 220, 225 here. He had 7 yards a carry last year, 14 rushing touchdowns. And then I put at the bottom some of the interested teams that I read about: the Seahawks, Bengals, Panthers, and Patriots. I don't know about the Seahawks. It's nice to be wealthy. It's nice to have a bunch of draft picks because you have Kenneth Walker, who everybody thinks is probably a top 10 running back right now, and you're already looking for his backup or possibly his replacement. And obviously Penny will be back.
Definitely would be his replacement, but they might want a true pounder to go with him.
Sure, yeah, absolutely. Mix it up. Yeah, AJ Dillon. That's just me. I didn't read that anywhere.
The Bengals.
Interesting, yeah, because Joe
drama today. I don't know if you guys saw that.
What's that?
I wouldn't put up with that. Chad, I wouldn't put up with that. If I was the Bengals, you got a good thing going. You've been to 2 consecutive AFC title games. I mean, they were a dumpster fire for years and had undisciplined guy. I know he's a good leader in the locker room, but I'd get rid of his ass. I mean, a guy like Charbonnet could come right in, or Bijan if they want to trade off too. Yeah. Perrine, he'll be out. I mean, yeah. So you have the opening to kind of take a high draft pick with a running back. Because they don't need any receivers right now. You could probably, they have a few holes. Maybe on the secondary too. But Charbonnet, I think he'd be a good, second round pick. Like if they wanted to wait till the second and didn't want to take one in the first, Charbonnet would be a great addition there. And Panthers too. I mean, Foreman.
Long term,
I could see him. I could see him starting. I could see Charbonnet. I could see him starting in a place like Carolina, not day one, but I could see him eventually winning that job, kind of like Kenneth Walker did. Come in as a second round pick and eventually win the job. So Carolina doesn't have any world beaters. So I think Carolina and Cincy would be the best fits for him. Let's see what you guys think. But he was great back at UCLA. I liked what Chip Kelly did with him.
I only have one flaw with him.
What's that?
The tiniest flaw. Every time I hear his goddamn name, I think of the mustache man burger.
Yeah. Zach. I don't. Yeah. I mean, I don't know too much about these two guys, but I mean, I know there would be. I think there would be at least some day 2 or day 3 guys that'll be coming off the boards, and Eric Gray will be one of them. Chase Brown, the other guy, Rashad Johnson, he was the other guy at Texas. Deuce Vaughn, possibly. And then Mohammed Ibrahim, he was the Minnesota running back. I had seen touches of him just a little bit. But I think those are other guys that will be coming off the board. I knew what Chase Brown could do. I watched him in a little combine too, but I mean, he tore it up. But I think he had a 1,000-yard season. I was going to dig into these guys a little bit more, but pretty much the Texans can't even talk now. The Longhorns had pretty much a 2-headed monster with Rashad Johnson and Bijan, but Bijan was their go-getter for sure though. But I mean, Eric Gray was another guy with the Sooners. He could tear it up if he wanted to. A little bit slower, but I mean, he'd be a great guy though.
I think it's actually very interesting Eli picked these two.
Yeah.
It's very much Charbonnet was was once upon a time right up there with Bijan.
I think he could be. If he ends up at
It's a long
Cincy,
time
especially
ago, but
with that,
he was touted, and he fell off. And Tucker's a nobody who blew up when Syracuse went on that 6-0 run to start the year.
But I'm not. I didn't go with the because if Jamie wanted to do one, I would have left Gibbs and Bijan or a couple of other guys that he likes. I would have left that open. So I tried to pick two different guys. I've liked Charbonnet all year. I mean, I've been on him. I'm like, this dude is like AJ Dillon and probably a little bit better than that. Tucker, he's a wild card, but I think if he ends up, how many successful 49ers running backs have there been? Elijah Mitchell, low round pick. List goes on and on. I mean, look at Jeff Wilson. Jeff Wilson's made another career for himself in Miami because of his time with Shanahan. So Shanahan, get the most out of him. Definitely Mike McDaniel. A lot of them are similar kind of Shanahan. Like disciplined, run it how I want you to run it. So I think those teams that are interested can get the most out of him. If he goes to like the Texans, he'd be a failure. I think this kid needs to be reined in, disciplined, and I think he could be a productive back. I don't think he's going to be a number one. I mean, he's not going to be Saquon. Charbonnet's got the. I think he could get to a Pro Bowl. I don't think Tucker would, but I don't see why he couldn't be in that.
You see that by the
absolutely. It's but you're going to need fantasy wise. You're going to need guys like Tucker. You know what I'm saying? Because Elijah Mitchell's going to get hurt. CMC is going to get hurt, especially in a place like San Francisco. Eventually you'll see a guy like Sean Tucker in there week 13 in a pinch when you need him. So I think there's a little bit of value there. He's not going to be an everyday
long-term best case scenario would be San Francisco because he could sit behind because CMC is going to be there.
Yeah, and it just kind of looking back, I think I had him on my fantasy team. I had Sean Tucker and I had Chase Brown. I had both those guys for my running backs, which was crazy. And he picked some good guys, and it dawned on me. I'm like, wait, I think I had Tucker as one of my running backs. And pretty much the other, I ended up liking Keaton Mitchell. I started watching. I ended up picking him up off my college waiver wire and started kind of following him a little bit because in my eyes. He
I got Keaton Mitchell at 6. I got him at 6, Jay. I think he's the sixth best run. You can even argue he's better than Tucker. Tucker I had at 5, and I had Keaton at I think he could jump him as well. But definitely the top two guys: Bijan, Gibbs, Charbonnet. I got at 3. So,
Keaton Mitchell is on the running style wise. I see Keaton is as Bijan Johnson. Those two guys are almost similar players. Just their running style is absolutely similar. And
Bijan's just got a lot of it's marketing though, because Keaton Mitchell. I mean, I think he could be just as good of a running back, but he doesn't have that. Like Bijan's got that. Like you have Zeke, you have Saquon. It's so like a regal running back. You almost kind of have a name like that. Like Bijan's like a one name guy. Bijan. Yeah. He's just got that like Dallas Cowboys star level kind of thing going on. So, but I keep Mitchell. Yeah, I could definitely see him being a stud in the NFL. That for sure. If we would have done a graphic for him, we could have. But
he was drafted by the USFL. So I mean, he's going to play some. I'm going to be watching him a little bit too this spring. He's got drafted by I think the Breakers or something like that. So he's going to be playing some spring football this year. So I'm like, oh shit! Just like there was another Cunningham. I think the Cardinals running back or the Cardinals guy. He got drafted by one of those teams too. So I mean, a couple of NFL prospects playing some spring football, which is crazy. But if we want to dip on, we got just 4 more guys we can dip on real quick. If you guys want,
I just want to touch one more thing on Sean Tucker real quick.
Him out. Go ahead, Chad.
Well, let's get Donovan here first.
Yep. I will only hold picks 1.
For guys to see that you.
See, I'm kind of in that situation right now because I'm actually drafting 4th. I'm not 1st, but you get to pick the crops of guys, especially in Dynasty, because I'm just kind of learning Dynasty. Well, I mean, I kind of had an idea, but me actually being in Dynasty this year, or actually doing my first draft next year, it's kind of interesting because I'm kind of like, which direction do I want to, a running back? Do I want to go quarterback? Because my quarterback's just, I mean, I had Brock, I had freaking Stafford. So I mean, it just varies on which direction you want to go. And you know, I might drop the running back in my eyes. But I'm fourth. I'm drafting fourth this year, though.
This is my bread and butter right here. If you have a quarterback already and you have decent wide receivers, that pick is not worth it after Bijan. You can get more out of trading that pick than you're going to get unless you hit perfectly and get the one wide receiver that's going to be a stud. If you need tight end, maybe you're in the later first round, then it becomes valuable again. But if you're picked 2 through 6, and you have a quarterback and 2 wide receivers on your roster already, they're quality, trade that pick.
Yeah,
I agree.
I mean,
move down. I agree.
Yep, and I'm just learning all this. I'm just this will be like after this year, I'll probably get more like after this. Well, after I draft this year, I'll probably get more entail of like what one shouldn't do and when So this is kind of my rookie season of actually drafting, kind of seeing how everything kind of plays out in that eyes. So yeah, I mean, I know I'm not quite sure.
We should do that here. We should do a mock dynasty draft, just for the show purposes. Get Chad back or Donovan. Like that, I think that'd be a lot of fun. Because I don't have a lot of experience either with dynasty, and that would be it'd be interesting to see. Thanks.
Well, I mean, I did my first dynasty this last year, but going through the whole draft process, that's what I'm waiting for, because then I'll get a better detail on. Ooh, well, maybe I should have did this, or what could I do for next year, kind of thing. So, I mean, those are all things that I'm going to be learning this year, which is going to be kind of interesting in my eyes, because I'm going to be like, dude, did I make a mistake on this guy or that guy? I'm learning. That's for damn sure. I mean, I played a lot of redraft, but this whole dynasty thing is going to be kind of interesting this upcoming year. Let's go over these last 4 guys.
Let me get to my point real quick, Jamie.
Okay.
With Tucker, Eli was talking about the Patriots being a great spot because of the structure and the discipline. And he's absolutely right. The only problem with that is there's such a crowd there that he has to perform right out of the gate, or he won't make it out of camp. Like, maybe he gets lucky and he makes it.
I think. No, I agree. There's a surplus there. I agree, but I think Damian Harris will be out of the picture soon. Ramondre is a stud. He ain't going anywhere. But beyond that, I mean, I don't see why. If he went to New England, I don't see why. Maybe if you did dynasty, I mean, he'd be a cheaper option at the towards the end of the draft. I'd have to see. Like I said, I'd be newer to that.
Yeah, he'd be a good it depends on your league, but he'd be a good second rounder in dynasty. Absolutely.
Yeah,
crazy.
Yeah, you're not breaking the bank for him, and he boomer bust kind of guy. There's no Brees. Brees. Ooh.
Yeah,
Brees. It's another guy. Jamie. He comes back. He comes back healthy, like my man Garrett Wilson, Aaron Rodgers, Brees Hall. It's like Aikman, Emmitt Smith, and Michael Irvin all over again. I think if he comes back healthy, this guy is going to be a top 5 running back. I saw enough of him. I mean, he was, it might be a tragic situation where he's like RG3 or something, where that injury just derails his career or something. But from what I saw in the small sample size, what I saw at Iowa State, when he was in college, this guy's an animal. He's 1,200-1,300 yard running back in the waiting.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah. 4 touchdowns on 80 attempts. Let's say he gets the 300 attempts next year if he's healthy. I mean, then 12, 13 touchdowns isn't out of the question. I break that up over the course. Go ahead, Jay.
I think I can see him probably getting 200 attempts next year at least. And I mean, I can at least see him getting 1,000 yards for sure. I mean, the way he was running and everything, because when he got injured, there was guys that actually, some of these rookies weren't even hardly playing yet. he was actually still leading in some of these categories, a lot of these rushing yards and stuff like that. It took a couple weeks for a lot of these guys to surpass him. And, I have him in my dynasty league, which was crazy. It sucked because I ended up having to pick up Donovan Knight and their other guy. Their last year guy, yep. So he was actually drafted. He was in this rookie class too, which was crazy. But yeah,
Don't
I mean,
forget the James Robinson experiment in there
yeah,
too.
yeah, that part kind of shitty, but hopefully that's a wash. But yeah,
He's
XFL.
still under contract, isn't he?
I'm not sure. I think they gave him either one or two. I think it was
Well,
very
because
little.
he was still on a 2-year deal when they traded him.
Then he might be him. They might cut him then if
He'll
that's where if that.
he'll be on the practice squad.
Yeah,
He'll be getting water.
I
He'll be getting water for Aaron Rodgers soon.
yeah,
But
but I if
this guy on our screen right now is our RB2 for the year.
I think he's gonna be RB1. I think he'll be. I think he's a little bit better than Walker. I think he's a little bit better than Algier, and Zamar White. I think I think he was their cream of the crop. Kenneth Walker can probably. I mean, Damian Pierce too. I think Halls. I think is their number one guy. You can kind of contest maybe Walker, but yeah, these two guys are interchangeable.
You're forgetting the name we just talked about, Bijan Robinson. That's the RB1.
I'm talking about second year class,
Hall
but
did
yeah,
last year out of the gate, Bijan's going to make look easy.
That all depends on where he all lands too, and that's going to be the thing too. If he doesn't have an
He could
offensive
land
line
with Zach Wilson at quarterback and do crazy shit.
Nah, that ain't gonna happen. That ain't gonna happen, Chad.
Yeah.
I don't know. Zach Wilson gets traded to the Raiders.
Then good.
Oh God. Why? Does Josh McDaniels want to get fired again? Is that what he? Why would you trade for Zach Wilson? Why?
That's crazy. But the other guy in this, it's kind of Kenneth Walker. I mean, he came in late. It started the year off a little bit late, but he, 228 carries, 1,000 yards. His total scrimmage yards about 1,215. You could just tell this. They put in some work with this guy, and then, I was kind of high on him. I don't remember if I ended up getting him in some of my leagues or not. I don't remember offhand, but if you had him, he probably helps you win some championships for sure.
He was a workhorse, for the short. I was going to say, Chad, for the short amount of time he was playing, I mean, this guy was a workhorse. 228 carries, over 4.5, average, 9 touchdowns. I mean, give or take, you never know about injuries or whatever. But I mean, over the course of it, let's say he gets up to 280 carries. I mean, that's another 50, 60 carries. I don't see why he couldn't be a 1,300 yard back and have, like with Breece Hall. They're very similar. Both capable of having, maybe 1,250, 1,300 yard seasons and, double digit touchdowns. They're both very capable of doing that. Yeah. Go ahead, Chad.
I'm so we're going to flash back a year and a half from back. I set up my entire year. I was going to have the number 1 pick in my dynasty league, and I was going to have the number 2 pick in my dynasty league. Oh. And I had traded all my running backs. I traded away Josh Jacobs. I had traded away Joe Mixon. I had traded away Saquon. I was landing Breece Hall, and for the longest time, I don't know if we'll touch on him because he sucks. It was going to be Breece Hall and Isaiah Spiller.
Ooh.
And then I got boned at the last second out of the first pick by someone trading Trevor Lawrence away to get it.
Crazy.
And Spiller sucked.
Yeah, Spiller
in a horrible landing spot. So I was like, I guess I have to draft Ken Walker. Boy, did that work out for me pretty well.
Well, I'm pretty sure you're happy about that because you had some 3 top guys there, and you just kind of gave them away. But those are some risks that you kind of torte or whatever the hell you want to say it. Yeah. But these are risks you take to mess around with your dynasty a little bit. What works, what doesn't work, or how you view. It's just crazy, man. But yeah, Kenneth Walker came in being a beast. Totally great. But I ended up with Breece Hall myself, and yeah, I had Chase too as well. But it sucks that he'll kind of went on the shitter, and then I'm hoping for a rebound this year. But yeah,
It's tough to figure out, just since we've been ranking him, it's tough to really put Walker. In my heart, he's RB3, but wait, Eli, RB6, 7, somewhere around there.
Yeah, that's about right. Yeah.
PMC's probably
7,
RB3.
7, yeah.
and I can't remember where
great.
we had him. I think
RB3.
we had him NFC ranking rise. I can't remember we had him offhand where we had him ranked that wise, NFC ranking wise. But I know he was fairly up there, at least top 10 for sure, at least in some of those guys. But
yeah,
it's Bijan, Brees, CMC, and Saquon for sure. Some order of the top 4.
Yeah,
in some order.
Yep. I'm probably going to wait until
after that.
Yep, I'm going to wait for the draft to happen. Then I'll be kind of redo my rankings after that. But right now, I'm leaving them as is.
It's all projections. Projection.
But I don't know. Hopefully, this we got this guy, one more guy to talk about, and then we got to get up out of here. But James Cooks. Yep. James Cooks is the other. Oh, James. I don't know why I picked Cooks. I should have been Cooks. God, why am I doing
speaking out of the book? You're speaking out of the book. James Cooks.
Yeah,
James Cooks.
I did. That was my fault again. I was probably. I actually got James Cook on my template here, and God dang. Oh well. There's too many cooks in the kitchen here, man. But
we want to talk about a guy tough to project. This might be the toughest guy from last year.
Yep.
To figure out what's going to happen.
Yeah. Hopefully, maybe Singletary goes bye-bye and James Cooks can fill that role. But I think they're getting. I think Hines is gone too. I think I've seen something they're going to be releasing him. So I think there's a good chance for James to kind of be that guy.
I think he's going to be the feature back with Buffalo, but it comes down to a philosophy thing. It just, like always with Buffalo, it's like they have a defensive coach. They rely too much on Josh Allen. So, Diggs and I think Shakir, the 5th-round rookie from last year, I think he might make a jump in that offense. Obviously, that bum Dawson Knox, if he's still around, he'll all the guys through the air will benefit. You never know about the running game. So yeah, like Chad was saying, there's a lot of variables there, but you're still getting number. I mean, Singletary was somewhat depending on it. If you didn't overdraft him, you got good value. I mean, he was somewhat productive. So Cook he's just going to continue in that. I mean, I can't say he's going to be a world beater, like a top 10, fantasy back or anything, but he'll definitely put up, definitely have more than 89 carries, and he not going to have 5.7 an average. I mean, maybe 4.7, 4.8, which is damn good next year, and maybe 200 carries. Maybe he gets that many, and maybe he could hit 1,000 yards. That would be fantastic. 900,000 yards, and because I don't think he's. We'll talk where he's going to go. His ADP, but I can't see him being more than a mid-round pick. He's not going to go. Yeah. I don't think anybody's going to break the bank for him.
Definitely going to get overdrafted with the Buffalo tag. Because people are just
there is there's a tag because everybody thinks of one guy, maybe Diggs or Davis. They think
they think good offense equals good production, and that's not the case here. Yeah. It's the only place where being on a good team doesn't help you.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Because even Kansas City, it's not a great situation for the running backs, but they at least get something out of it. Yeah, Buffalo, you could get nothing out of your running backs.
Yeah, and that's the thing about it.
You'll get like I was gonna say, Jay, you'll get like a random 2-touchdown game from Jerick McKinnon or Pacheco. You'll get just you don't get that in Buffalo. There's no random you might get a Gabriel Davis random 3-touchdown game, 2-touchdown game. You don't get that with Buffalo's running game. So I don't think Cook is gonna. I don't think he's gonna pop. And have 163 touchdowns, like a thing that's going to win you your fantasy league.
Singletary would pop off for 2-touchdown games all the time, but then there would be the games where they run the ball 5 times, where they run it like 25 times, but 24 of them were Josh Allen runs.
Yep. And most of it's touch on, Singletary, they were closer to the freaking goal line too. A lot of them, 10 yard, 15. That's where he had a lot of his stuff.
Yeah, it wasn't 50-yard rushing touchdowns or anything.
Yeah, and that's for sure. And if, looking back, this rookie class, you had Brees Hall, Spiller, Walker, Pierce, Cooks, Brian Robinson, Rashad White, Kareem Williams, Pierce Strong, Tyler Algier, Zonovan Knight, Hassan Hoskins, Zamar White, Kitani Ingram. You got Travis Price, and you had Paco. So I mean, if you think about all these guys, there was at least 4 of these guys had, Pierce or Kenneth Walker had 288. Pierce had 220 carries. Tyler Aguirre had 210. And then Isaiah actually kind of came in at the end of this, and it kind of mid-season, 170 carries. So if you think about it, a lot of these other guys, they weren't so hot. I mean, Rashad White, 129. So if you think about it, this class was kind of up and down a little bit.
Cook is perfect this year in redraft as your bye week running back.
I think
you get your Saquon, you get Najee or Chubb,
Smart
and then Cook is your third one that you can slide into your flex if he's playing well. But at least you have someone safe and stable for the bye week.
And I forgot.
Chat. I wish I had a nail here. Wish I had a hammer and a nail. He hit it right on the damn head. He is a perfect number, like on a number 3 running back. He is perfect because you can play. You don't have to play him every week. You can kind of pick your matchups or bye weeks. Yeah. Love that. Yeah, that's great. That's exactly what I was.
And then if he blows up, he blows up, and you're loving life all year.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
I think that's where Brian Robinson kind of falls in with that same category, pretty much in that same tier with Cooks. I was going to say Robinson had 205, but I mean he didn't have quite 800 yards, but his average not so great, 3.9. But you got to think about it too. Washington wasn't; they were kind of 50-50. Some days they were good, some days they were bad. So I mean, I think maybe this next year, I think that's going to be a whole different story.
It's kind of where Zeke was too, which is crazy to say.
Yep, most definitely. Our last guy of the night, so we can get up out of here. I got to eat, a bunch of other stuff to do. Is Sam Howell up in this group? I mean, I probably could have Pickett up in here, but Sam Howell is the guy who can lose his job pretty damn quick.
He might not have a job to begin with.
It just depends who they sign. I mean, we're going off of like March 7th knowledge. So, I mean, the Commanders could trade for somebody. They could trade for Jimmy or bring somebody else in that competes or draft somebody. You never know. But as of now, he's the number 1 guy. Didn't look bad against Dallas the last game of the season. And, it's not like Mahomes in 17 against the Chargers where we're like, wow, when this guy gets the job, he's gonna tear the league up. But I didn't see that kind of potential. But, if he's a 1 year, I mean, we'll see what he can do next year. He'd be, in my book, he's above Kyle Trask. I mean, come on now.
Right.
And it's going to be heavy. And we were just talking about Brian Robinson. I think Gibson still has, I mean, the guy was the, rookie of the year 3 years ago now. So Gibson and Robinson, I can see them benefiting. Maybe if Logan Thomas is actually healthy this year, he could benefit, having a young quarterback in there. Tight ends or running backs, that tends to be the beneficiaries. Maybe Dotson, if we were talking about another second-year receiver, Jahan Dotson from the Commanders. Obviously, you still have Terry McLaurin, who's a stud. So I think there's a few pieces to work with. I mean, this isn't Atlanta. Like Desmond Ridder is he's destined to fail. And a lot of that is Arthur Smith and the lack of weapons. But I can see Sam Howell being somewhat productive. I don't know. Maybe he plays good enough to keep his job for another year. Or he's a transitional quarterback.
There's a perfect comp here for Sam Howell, and that's Davis Mills after his rookie year.
I think
there was something there with Mills. It was just a question of could he make it stick?
You
But he
know
was
what?
going to get the chance to make it stick.
There's a couple. Sam Howell's gonna trust me, guys. If you let's say 16 or 20, you're in a deeper league this year. It's year by year deeper league. Sam Howell's gonna be a guy you put in on the bye week. He'll be that. Yeah, he'll be that Davis Mills. He'll be that bye week guy. Because you're not gonna have two. You're not gonna have Josh Allen and Trevor Lawrence as your two quarterbacks in like a 16 team league. That just won't happen. Yeah. But you can get a Josh Allen and then have a Sam Howell as your 1 week backup. He's better than. I mean, he can be better than what I think he's be better than CJ Stroud's a project in my book. So he might produce better than him. If let's say Indy takes him and he starts from day one, or Bryce Young will be okay. I think Bryce Young might be above Sam Howell this year, but the Bucs situation, there's worse quarterback situations than what Sam Howell's going to face. So, and he's got a few weapons to work with. We'll see what he can do. I mean, he's not going to. I don't think he's going to be Dak. Be that mid round guy that just starts playing Pro Bowl level or like Russ or anything. But I think he's going to be better than Desmond Ridder, Kyle Trask, whoever the Colts take with their rookie. That's three guys right there off the top of my head. So there's probably a few more. So
yeah, for sure. I think he'd be a good if you're a two quarterback.
Looking at like a Goff situation.
Yeah, more than likely. Yeah, very possible there.
Maybe.
In a two quarterback league, if he's starting, you'll draft him. You'll put him on your bench. I mean, that's what I think, anyways.
Yeah, 12 team, two quarterback league. 10 team, two quarterback league. As your third guy, your bye week guy. He absolutely. Sam Howell would definitely be my third. No issue with that.
Yeah, for sure. But I think, before we get out of here real quick, I know Donovan made a couple comments. I know Donovan agreed with you, Chad, there. Walker is probably a number 3, but you'll need him to have him for at least 6 years. And his other one, too, here was quick. If he ends up being a starter, with that receiving core, he moves quickly in the 15 to 20-ish dynasty rank. AK draft is that. And he was probably talking about Sam Howell. So, if I'm correct.
Yeah, so Donovan thinks he's got a little potential there in dynasty, and year to year, there's.
I already have him owned for this Donovan. I think Donovan's inside my brain right now because that is exactly my plan with Howell. I've been holding on to Jordan Love for the same freaking reason. He just hasn't gotten a job.
He's going to pop for you. Yeah, he's going to pay dividends for you this year too. Trust me.
Because my current quarterback in dynasty is hurt, so I don't really need all those other extra guys.
Yeah.
I just stockpiling rookies I can get cheap for years. I traded away 2 last offseason. That didn't quite work out as well as I thought it would, but
that's the way to do it, man. That's how the pros do it. That's how these NFL GMs do it. They'll go off that rookie contract. Go off the rookie contract.
You did make me sad, Eli. You were talking about not getting Josh Allen, another quarterback in 2 quarterback leagues. It just brings me back to last season, my redraft leagues, where I had Allen and Hurts. I had Lamar and Hurts just everywhere.
Crazy.
Because Hurts was so far down the board.
You're just a lucky man.
That's not happening.
You're just a lucky man, Chad.
It's not happening again this year.
No, both top 5.
It's going to be interesting. Will Hurts go ahead of Lamar? That's going to be fun to watch.
Yeah, absolutely. Even with them getting rid of the little rugby rule where you can't push them from the 3, even with that gone, I would take Jalen Hurts over Lamar.
I would too. I just wonder if the masses will.
Yeah. Crazy. But
that might depend on where Lamar ends up too.
Yep. Well, guys, I think we did a nice, heavy, deep dive on a lot of second-year guys here, and I'm pretty sure we could have gone a little bit more, but there were so many guys to really talk about. But yeah, I mean, we kind of talked about most of the heavy hitters and kind of the second-year tiers and some other guys and whatnot.
So when's the show for 8th-year guys?
Never. 8-year guys like
Derrick Henry.
Yeah,
Jared
Derrick
Goff.
Henry.
You want to
Next show, you guys will be talking about Derrick
on
Henry being on a new team.
Carson
That's going to be
Wentz?
fun.
Carson Wentz.
Yeah, it's very possible that Henry. I don't think. No. Just quick.
You guys remember last time I was on this show, I predicted this very situation.
Derrick Henry possibly being traded.
Absolutely.
Is that what you? Well, okay.
I thought it might have happened at the deadline, even.
Yeah, it was very possible.
Yeah, they were
week
in
13,
contention all year, though. They were in contention all year. I mean, that would have been suicide for Vrabel if he had traded his workhorse at mid. That would have been. Where do you? Okay, before we go quick, where do you guys think if Henry is moved? Like if on the scroll next Tuesday, I have Derrick Henry traded to insert team. Where do you think he would go? 20 seconds. Go. I think honestly, if he's traded, I think Derrick Henry's traded to Carolina.
I think I said Carolina. I said Tampa if they're going to try and win with the defense.
See that, yeah.
And Cincinnati
I don't want it. I want us to tank. I want us to tank. I don't want that, but yeah, I can see that.
Cincinnati is the other one that stood out as a landing spot.
You stayed with the Titans because there is just no there is no openings out there where he has 300 some odd carries out there right now. So yeah, he stays with the Titans.
Fair enough.
Yeah. Well, guys, I think that concludes our show. Chad, appreciate your time joining us. We had a lot of great discussions and whatnot. So I'm very happy.
We gotta get Chad in more often. We love the 3 man.
Back at full health.
Too, man. I'm
on the grind. I'm going to be busy for a while though because it's draft season starting at 10 a.m. tomorrow.
Yep, a lot of MLB stuff going on. Yep.
Yeah, I got the big Fantasy Six-Pack series repping the Palazzo podcast. It's one of the pros versus Joes.
Oh, nice.
Oh, yay!
Yeah, we'll be all three of us will be drafting together here pretty soon too. We got
you ever get that league filled?
Yes, it's filled now. It is filled again, so it is filled. But yes, we will be drafting. I think it's the 18th or 19th. That's be coming up pretty soon. So yeah, all three of us will be drafting. Donovan's gonna be in there. So I mean, yeah, we got quite a few guys. But yeah, so Eli, next Sunday, if you're available, we're gonna be recapping our draft. Donovan and I will be recapping our draft, talking about that.
This Sunday?
Oh no! I'm sorry. Donovan and I we're actually in a different 20-man that we'll be drafting. So sorry, okay. My bad. I misspoke on that one. Me and Donovan are going to be drafting in 2 days in a different 20-man. The first one I did, so we'll be drafting and recapping that.
Thursday.
Yeah.
Thursday.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, Sunday I work at FedEx.
Yeah. But yeah, that was my fault. Ours is actually the 18th or somewhere in there. One of those two things. So, but yeah, we'll end up probably recapping that too. So, Jesus Christ, a lot of stuff. But yes, Eli and I are actually on Tuesdays. Donovan and I, we talk a little baseball, and that's actually on Sundays. So if you guys want a little baseball talk, we're over there. I do. Eli and I are here on Tuesdays. So
Jamie on Fridays talking golf.
No,
definitely tennis. that seems perfect for Friday.
Yes,
I will. You're not careful, guys. I'm gonna start adding that to the scroll just to mess with you a little bit.
This hasn't been fun in a year. It's sad.
Brooks Koepka wins third event of year.
But last year with the Australian Open, when Dorkvac got kicked out of the country and changed the entire tournament, and then Nadal making his huge comeback to win. That was the best. That was the high peak of tennis for years last year. Was that Australian Open?
Crazy. Well, guys, we appreciate all the viewers. Oh, make sure you guys like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. If you're on Twitch, I'm not sure how that works, but at least on our Facebook side, just hit a like or whatever, and yeah, make sure you follow us on all the good audio stuff too. Spotify, YouTube, or not YouTube, sorry. Spotify, Apple, and Google Play, all that great stuff. But yeah, make sure you join our Discord as well. That's actually all in the comment section. And if you're on our audio side, I will also put that in our description. And the links to our YouTube as well will be in our description in the audio part of our podcast. So, well, guys, I think it's time to get up out of here. So, Chad, appreciate your time. Eli, we'll talk to you later, man. So, this is Odd Rhythm. We'll see you guys next time.